Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. No, we skipped the last week's stream because I was in Vegas and I was attending the AWS reInvent conference, and it finally happened after 4 years. So I had been, wanting to go to AWS reInvent for the last 4 years, and it finally happened. Huge shout out to Twilio for making that happen. And yeah, I had a lot of fun meeting, the amazing AWS community and also great, AWS employees that I've known over the past 2 years. So yeah, again, this is gonna be a usual stream where I answer your career, cloud, DevOps related questions, or even DevRel now. So it's almost been what now, 6 months? Let's see. So May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. More than 6 months for me working as a developer evangelist for Twilio. So yeah, if you got any questions in regards to career, cloud, DevOps, DevRel, feel free to ask them. And yeah, also reInvent. So if you have any questions regarding reInvent, um, you know, I can kind of share my experience, but we'll let more viewers get in. I already see a hello Pum, and let me know where you are joining from, because I try to do this like friendly with the Indian time zone and also the Eastern time zone. So yeah, let me know where you're joining from, and I'll try to answer your questions. So yeah, let's kind of talk about the reInvent experience as we see questions come in. So I went 2 days earlier, so the reInvent started on Monday. I went on Friday, so that I had Saturday and Sunday to kind of just you know have like a mini vacation before reInvent and like um, go around Vegas. So we went to the canyon, we went to the Hover Dam, and the dam itself was massive, and like I have not seen something this like such a big dam in my life experience. So it was really good, and we were there at sunset. So it was a great view. And it was much needed break that I needed. So we went to the dam, we went to the canyon. The canyon, it was a great drive. We rented a car for 2 days, and so that's how we commuted around. And yeah, it was fun. And then Monday started the reInvent. So I think on Monday I had almost 20 kilometers. So I walked 20 kilometers, and that was quite overwhelming. And it was pretty consistent the next 4 days too. So every day I would, on average, would walk 15 kilometers, and yeah, that was a lot. So like my calves would hurt by the end of the day, and yeah, I missed few sessions that I wanted to be at just because I was so tired. Um, but I did, made the effort to meet like a lot of community members and AWS folks, because that was the main reason I was there. I was there to network, and I have known many of them over Twitter for the last, I think, 2 to 3 years. And it was finally nice to see them in person. There were folks from Europe that I was looking forward to meet. And so, yeah, I think reInvent in itself was amazing. It was just a bit overwhelming because it was my first one, and there were around 55,000 attendees. So, a lot of people, right? And I think by 7 or 8 at max, I was like done for the day. Even though there were like after parties and dinners and stuff, I just couldn't go. So that's my experience of reInvent, and also I got a lot of swag. I don't know if you saw my Twitter posts or Instagram posts. I'll try to show as much I can on the stream too, but I'll be giving most of it away at local meetups. And so yeah, if you're around Toronto or Kitchener area, like, and just you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter to know which meetups I'm gonna be at. But yeah, I'll be giving it randomly away to people who come up talk to me. So I'll carry that swag along. But yeah, that's my experience, and I'll show some pictures and stuff from reInvent in the stream today. So yeah, hang around, and if you could like the stream, that would be awesome. That's the best way to support these streams and my channel. Okay, so a lot of hellos. Hey, there are a few people joining from Ottawa. Awesome. Great city, right? I don't know if you think the same, but I find it, it's pretty chill, but you still have access to a lot of things. So I like Ottawa. Uh, Not a lot to do, but it's still pretty, chill and relaxed city. Um, and that is based on my opinion when I visited it in 2016. So it might have changed. Hey, Nelson. Pump says just checking out DevOps Guide. Awesome. Yeah, check out DevOps Guide. There are a few updates that are coming. I was really busy with the reInvent stuff, so haven't had the chance to make contributions or commits. But I have a branch that I'm working on right now, so you'll see the look, like the UI changing, and the order of phases changing, because I believe like I want to make a change where you do version control before CI/CD, because the way right now I have it is you do CI/CD before version control, but I think knowing Git and GitHub is like it should be before CI/CD. So yeah, those are some changes that are coming in. There will be a project too, and if you haven't checked out, I did a project video with Google Cloud and AI. So go check it out if you're looking to build something in cloud or a cloud project. It can be kind of done over the weekend. So it's a pretty cool project to have, on your GitHub. Nikhil says DevOps for fresher. Hey, Nikhil, I don't know if that's a question or did you meant that as a comment to the DevOps guide. Nelson says joining from Nigeria. Awesome. So Jagat Jeeban says is referral is the only way of getting remote job after being skilled? I don't think so. So I recently let's get into Twitter. I recently shared, I think both on Twitter and LinkedIn. So what I shared is remote DevRel opportunities because I came across those. That's fine. Out. Okay. So yeah, this is the tweet. I'll link it down below, or I'll post it in the chat. But yeah, basically there were 4 opportunities that I shared, and I'll keep sharing more. So follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter, because I share both on LinkedIn and Twitter. But most of them were remote, either Europe or US. But there's one that's globally remote, and yeah, I don't feel like there are so many great remote opportunities from companies that are not known to people. So I think, and like for me, starting in a small to medium sized company was game changing. Like I learned a lot. So I do feel like you'll have the most learning and also the most impact at a small to medium sized business when you're just starting out a new career. So yeah, check these out. They're pretty good opportunities. I do know that most of them are remote US, so I'll try to share ones that are not that are like globally remote. And if you can get a referral, so to answer your question, if you can get a referral, that's awesome. If you cannot, apply anyways. Just keep in mind that work on your resume. Like I've seen people applying to like 50 jobs with the same resume. Don't do that. Apply to maybe 10 jobs, but like streamline your resume according to each job description. So instead of bulk applying, apply to lesser roles, but make your resume more significant for that role. And yeah, you should be good. Um, Prasanta says, I'm a BCom graduate, completed MBA as well. Can I go for DevOps? Yeah, that's what I've been saying about tech is anybody can do it, right? You just need to, just remember that set your goals realistically and also know what are the skills that you're lacking. So like sit down, right? Look at what a DevOps engineer need, right? I have made a lot of videos on this. Other content creators or um, other engineers have also made really good videos on like the roadmap you need for DevOps. So sit down, look at the skills that you don't have, work towards those skills. Again, you'll need a lot of discipline and um, hard work to gain these skills. But you can still self teach yourself. So after doing that, after you have gained the skill, build projects, and then you can enter the field. I know 3 to 4 people personally who like did accounting or they did law and now are working in tech as developers or solutions architects. So it can be done. It's just you need the will and also you know good mindset. uh, okay, Shiva says congrats brother for winning an award. Thank you. It was I had to thank everyone on the stream or people who are on my channel because it was someone from the community who nominated me, and then I realized this award is a thing. And then Weavesphere reached out saying, here, like, you have to fill out stuff, and it worked out, right? Like my contributions, they found they were significant in the cloud and DevOps space, especially in Canada. So yeah, thank you to the community for whoever nominated me. Thank you for nominating me, uh, and feeling that my work is helping in this space. Pius says exactly what is the meaning of cloud and what cloud engineers do in that. Like designers design, developers develop. So what these cloud people? I think so. Piyush, I meant to reply to your comment on the YouTube video. I couldn't, but I'll do that too. Um, so cloud basically, as we are progressing, there was a shift from, especially for businesses that are just starting out or startups, that you don't need to have hardware anymore. You can go with pay as you go model by picking any of these cloud providers. So you can basically rent you know uh, server power, if that's a thing, or power to run your applications and websites from these cloud providers. So you don't need to build your own data center, which takes a lot of challenges away, like putting because if you're building your own data center or a server room, you have to buy those servers, and that's a lot of money up front. Whereas with cloud, you can go with pay as you go model and you can scale up resources as your business scales. And for that, now you need cloud engineers. So business people kind of know the benefits of cloud now. Now we need engineers who can, make sure the applications are cloud ready and what kind of infrastructure do we need in the cloud? Because, think of basic services like VMs. So, okay, you got a server, you're running it on VMs, right? And um, that's the traditional on-prem data center kind of methodology. But now you moved it to cloud. Okay, it's easy, right? Because you can run VMs in the cloud. But let's say you're running a database, and now AWS has RDS, which is managed database service that takes a lot of headache of setting up a database away from you, and you just have to worry about the data itself and whatever engine you're using, like MySQL, MariaDB, right? You don't have to worry about the underlying server in itself. So learning about those managed services is also what cloud engineers do and are like experts in. Similarly, there are a lot more services like object storage, S3, what's it's called in Azure, I forgot. But yeah, you get the point. So these services are cloud specific, and you need engineers to understand them as we are moving workloads away from the traditional models. So that's what cloud engineers do in a nutshell. Vedant says, Bhaiya, is there any prerequisite for DevOps or cloud? Yes. By prerequisite, I mean you need to know this before jumping into a cloud provider or DevOps skill set. And those are Linux, so have some understanding of Linux, especially Bash, and then also networking. So you need to know how computers talk to each other, how the internet works, how DNS works, right? How packets, basically how computers talk to each other, I think sums it up, and different protocols around that. So I think those two are really important before jumping into cloud. Because think of cloud, it's just a bunch of servers tied together in someone else's data center. Okay, I'm trying to scroll through the chat. When are you coming to India? Soon, soon. I don't want to, give any ideas, but once it's confirmed, I'll post about it. But yeah, follow me on Instagram at Rishabh in Cloud for any of the life kind of updates, or not just cloud. Like I'm a human being, so if you're interested in that, follow me on Instagram. Rishabh says, "Hey bro, I guess he meant little late to join. No worries, no worries. Glad you could make it." Rishabh has been joining all of my live streams, so that's great. And we have exchanged few chats. But yeah, I'm looking forward to uh, meet him in person someday. Rahul says, "Could you please share some DevOps project resources?" Sure. So let's see. I There are few videos that are in pipeline. They have been recorded. I'm editing them, but they are DevOps focused. So you can either wait for them, or have you heard about the Cloud Resume Challenge? So if you haven't, I think that's a great project. But the Cloud Resume Challenge, you can work towards making it, like there is CI/CD part at 14 and 15 where you have to you know make sure that continuous integration is done using GitHub Actions. And I think that's a great project, because you can talk about source control and CI/CD itself, and it will also help with understanding cloud concepts, because of the previous phases of the project. And then Gwen did a really good video on. So if you don't know Gwen, she's a great friend of mine, and she did a video on DevOps. So Cloud DevOps project, build an API complete with IAC and CI/CD. So go check it out. I'll link it in the chat. But yeah, those are some like recent and good projects. And then, as I said, there are videos that are already in pipeline. So look out for those. And also, Rahul, check out the DevOps guide. It's linked in the description. I'll link it again. That's where you'll see more hands-on projects. So Jagat Jeeban says, difference between DevRel and Developer Advocate. I don't think there's a huge difference, right? It's just the naming. Like some companies named it Developer Advocate, and then some named it Developer Relations. I think there is really slight difference, but then I also see a difference between Developer Advocate at company X and Developer Advocate at company Y, because the work is different. So in a nutshell, I was testing this out with ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an AI that you can ask questions about, and you might be seeing a lot of Twitter and TikTok posts around this. So I asked it, what is a developer advocate? And it gave a pretty good response you know, saying that a developer is a person who works to support and promote a company's technology or product to the developer community. This can involve a wide range of activities such as writing blog posts and tutorials, speaking at conferences and meetups, right? Answering questions or forums and social media. And that's what I have been doing as, a person in DevRel. So I think it's pretty close. So let's ask it and see what it says. Difference between, sorry, I forgot to change the screen. So difference between DevRel, developer relations, and developer advocates. So just what I said. It says developer relations and developer advocacy are closely related fields, but there are some key differences between the two. DevRel is a broader term that refers to the activities and strategies a company uses to build a relationship with the developer community. This can include, same thing that I read before, whereas developer advocacy, on the other hand, is a specific role within a company that focuses on promoting the company's technology or product to developers and working to improve the developer experience. So there you go. Yeah, according to me, there is not much difference. So S. Mohana says, should I want to maintain CGPA and no history right to place in Google? CGPA is the GPA, right, that you get in the college, right? I'm guessing you mean that you maintain your GPA. I did poorly in my diploma in the first 2 semesters, but I did catch up in the 3rd and 4th semester. But it didn't matter to any of the companies that I've been at. They don't ask you for a score, but just to give you a context, this is in North America. So, I don't know how it is in India. Like, do they ask for grades and stuff in college? So, is there a preferable Linux distro for cloud DevOps? I'm only used to Kali. Yeah, that's what I used for Kali, for Linux. But I also used Ubuntu. So yeah, I think the companies that I've worked for, they usually use Ubuntu. So I think, and it's not because they are all Debian based, so it's not a lot of different. Like, there's not a lot of difference between those two. And also, most of them were Ubuntu servers, so you don't have to familiarize yourself with the UI. It was, you're mostly in the command line. Tanya Dugal says, yes, please post. I'm guessing this was to something I said in the past or like on the stream. So could you please elaborate, Tanya? I forgot what I was saying. Like, what do you want me to post? Okay. Pew says, is cloud that type of thing where there will always be a requirement of cloud people, or is that kind of work that can also be done by someone else who is not from cloud field, like developers? I guess I've seen developers working in the cloud, but they had to upskill, right? They had to learn cloud. So we had a few developers who knew AWS, and the only reason they knew is they learned it as also being developers. Now they were they were kind of aware what services we use in the cloud and how we can make it better, kind of stuff. But then our company had to hire dedicated cloud engineers, me being one, right? And I worked in help desk, so I moved from help desk to cloud. So there's always going to be people who are ready to upskill and focus on different things. So yeah, a developer can also work in the cloud, but again, they'll have to learn stuff. But there will be a dedicated cloud team for sure. So if you're trying to decide, if you, Piyush, because I think I'm getting a sense that you're trying to decide if you want to do cloud or not, I would say give it a try and see if you like it, right? Like, don't just dive too deep into it. Give it a try, see if you love infrastructure and if you love dealing with infrastructure and cloud providers. And if that's something you like, you can pursue it as a career. If not, then you can be a developer. As Mohana says, what's your position in Google? I was a technical solution specialist. I don't work at Google anymore. I worked there for 5 months and quit. So if you're curious, check out my channel. I have, let's go over my channel. I'm gonna shamelessly plug my own channel. So I know the day in the life video is doing great, but I also have I left Google video that I did 6 months ago. So it's funny how this is ordered. So I do day in a life video, and then I think 2 weeks later I posted this. So it's funny. But yes, go check that out for the reasons and stuff why I left Google. Ocean says, good morning. Good morning, Ocean. Pew says, in short, the job demand for cloud or future of it in upcoming 5 years. Yeah, there's definitely demand. DevOps and cloud, they're here to stay, at least for the next 5 years for your context. So, there will be huge demand. I'm looking at entry level roles because of how much, like, I got a lot of questions especially from students who are graduating because of layoffs and stuff and hiring freezes, right? So I was doing some research on like how is cloud doing and like how many open roles, especially from Canada's perspective, and how many cloud roles do we have open, right? And how many of them are hiring junior or entry level engineers. So yeah, expect a video soon about that. Manny says, how important is to learn CCNA to work in it? Not at all important. CCNA, I feel like it's really Cisco heavy. So if you're trying to learn networking for cloud, check out learntocloud.guide. It has the essentials that you need for the cloud. But if CCNA is something that you want to do, you're most you should do it if that's something you're trying to get. But yeah, I don't have a CCNA, and I did fine as a cloud engineer in DevOps, right? Tanya Dugal says, is it recorded? Sorry, what is recorded? And also, Tanya, please let me know what you meant by yes, post it in the above chat, because I forgot. If you're asking about the live stream, yes, it'll be available on the channel later. Okay, let's switch the screens. Manny says, also, can you tell how a person 3 to 4 years IT experience, no cloud experience, can gain cloud experience, projects, etc., to apply for cloud jobs? Thanks. Yeah, you answered it yourself. Do projects, build meaningful projects like Cloud Resume Challenge. If you have encountered an issue, or if you have encountered a problem in your day-to-day life, see if it can be solved by creating a project. So the recent video I did is, oh, by the way, I just posted a video an hour ago about the AWS Community Builders program, because a lot of you asked what is the Community Builders program. So go check it out. But yeah, I did a weekend cloud project with Google Cloud and AI. What it does is, I think I showed it on stream, you text or you send an image to a number, and it gives you a summary of that image or text. So let's say you have a book and it has, full page of text, and you don't have the time to read it, or you forgot your glasses like me. You take a picture of that page, you send it to the number, and it gives you a summary, like the audio version of summary, which you can play. So that is really handy for me if I forget my glasses and I have to read something and it's long. So yeah, look for those things in life and try to solve them with cloud. Sandhu Herman. Hey, how hard it is to get into IT for a person with no technical background? What are the initial courses one should take to start with? So, Tech World with Nana just came out with a really good course. I think that solves this issue, especially for people who are like just starting out in tech. And I think it's called what it's called. Ultimate course. Yeah, Ultimate Course for IT Beginners. There you go. So yeah, check it out. I believe it's gonna be pretty good. I haven't taken it yet, but I think like Tech World with Nana. If you don't know, she's like the goat with DevOps and cloud content, especially DevOps. And I I can only think that this course is also like at the same caliber. So yeah, it'll help you get into the if you're really starting out in the IT field. I think this is a good starting point. So this is the course that I'm talking about. If someone is wondering, and I shared it in the chat. But yeah, good questions. Nishark says, "Hi, how are you doing? Why did the superclass get postponed? We didn't have enough registrations, so the team decided to do it, and it's holidays, right? So it's really hard to get developers and people involved. So we decided to do it in. Sorry, my headphones just turned off for me. Okay. So yeah, we decided to postpone it, and we'll be doing it in Q1 next year, when people are back from breaks and stuff. Pooja says, I'm a fresher. If I want to become cloud DevOps engineer, how should I start? Where should I start? What should I learn? Great questions. Learn to cloud.guide, especially if you're starting in cloud and DevOps. And then I'm also working towards the DevOps guide. So it's literally the DevOps.guide. And you can go and look at, what do you need to become a DevOps engineer? It's a lot more theoretical right now, so I'm planning to add projects and stuff to make it more hands-on. Right, but same thing is with learn to cloud.guide. You can go, it's a free open source guide. And it tells you starting from zero, what do you need, right? And then you have phase one, Linux bash and networking fundamentals. So yeah, it's an amazing resource to have for anyone who is starting out. So learn to cloud.guide and the DevOps.guide. It's also in my description. So Akshay Kumar says, hello brother, I'm 27 years old. I have a background in mechanical. I want to switch to IT. Can you recommend me a pathway to switch? So that's a really broad question because what do you want to do in IT? And if you're not sure, I would highly suggest sit down and, figure out what you want to do in IT. Look at different roadmaps, look at different roles. What do they do, right? I've posted about me being a cloud engineer and also me being a DevOps engineer. So you can look at those videos and see if that's something you want to do. And if it's not, look at, some of the developer roadmaps. Like maybe you want to be a front-end developer, back-end. And also, I think this course is, as I was talking, this course is great to get started. So it's the ultimate course for IT beginners. Yeah. And then if you can be more specific, I can't tell you what to do, right? If you don't know what is something that you want, if that makes sense. Your question is really broad. If you said, hey, I want to become a cloud engineer, how do I do that? I can answer that, right? As Mohana says, will you go back to Google? It depends. It depends. If there is an opportunity and if it's something that I really want to do, like the role is, good match of things that I want to do, sure. Like I had no reason to quit other than that it was a role that I didn't want to do, and that was it. I didn't like the work itself, like in the role that I was in. The team, people, everyone was great. Manny says, I struggle in concept of VPC and AWS. Can you make a video explaining it in simple words for benefit of students? Thanks. Yes, Manny. So I'm working. So if people are not aware in the chat, I'm also a part-time professor at a college and I teach AWS Cloud. I won't be doing that anymore starting next semester. And the idea is because like now I've gained, kind of a professional experience teaching AWS. I'm gonna make, videos around AWS where I'll be teaching different services and concepts. So that's what 2023 is gonna look like. So yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. But yeah, I'll tackle EC2, VPC, load balancing, auto scaling, all of those concepts and services, because I think those are like the really fundamentals within AWS that you need to know. Rishabh says, your point of view about recession. My point of view about recession is, I think I talked in detail on the podcast that I did with Gwen. It's on Learn to Cloud's channel. So if you go to learntocloud.guide, you can look at our podcast we have together. And I think we shared a lot of, like thoughts on the recession there. Right now, I feel like, I am in a mindset that, I could be laid off anyways, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a business. And if the business is not making money, they have to cut costs or, trim the fat, whatever you want to say. And I can be laid off, right? So yeah, like in the end, all of these companies are businesses that need to run and need to, bring in the numbers and the money. And that's how, world works. But there are a lot of opportunities out there. The other day I was talking to someone at a local hospital. There's, they needed people in the IT. I think it's IT admin role. So, there are a lot of opportunities like outside of tech companies, but you still will be working in tech, if that makes sense. Hospitals, universities, you have the automobile, like you can work for, all of them have become smart now, automobile, like BMW, Audis, like Volkswagen, they all have websites. They all need developers. They all need infrastructure engineers because they're hosting all of this somewhere, right? So yeah, look at those opportunities. If you're depressed or feeling bad about the recession and the opportunities that you lost. Pew says, studying from India and then applying for a cloud job in Canada. Can you tell me how hard or easy it is for Indian people to get cloud job? So the advice I would give is look at roles that are globally remote, right? And then I already said I'm sharing opportunities on my LinkedIn and Twitter. I'll also start doing this in my newsletter. So, you can get emails about any of the remote job postings. Because thing with cloud jobs or any jobs in general that might be posted in Canada is most likely they'll hire in Canada, right? Because of the legal things. But companies who are able to hire globally, and that's why I say focus on those companies and roles. Because it's easier for them to have someone in India and they can pay them because there's, rules and legislations. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Okay. I don't know where I was in the chat. Okay, there we go. Bhave says, cloud server storage project is good for a CV or resume or a payment gateway project. By the way, rocking the scruffy beard. But yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's been how many years now? 2019, 2021, 2022, 23. So it will be 4 years since I haven't Like I only trim, and I've been rocking this beard look. But thanks. Yeah. So cloud server storage. I don't know. What do you mean by that? Like, give me some more context. Like, what do you mean you'll be using cloud for your server storage, or do you mean like a NFS, a file sharing system? But yeah, my thinking is that the Cloud Resume Challenge is a great project. And if you're looking for something beginner friendly, I have Azure Azure Resume API, and there will be a video coming soon. But yeah, look into this. I do have a blog post too for this. So if you go to my blog, you can find it. But this is the project. You get a serverless resume API at the end, and it's very detailed. So like I tried to make it as detailed as I could. But yeah, I'm gonna make a AWS version of this. So go check that out. Manny says, can you suggest what kind of services or what kind of workload support engineers or entry level cloud engineers do in companies such as AWS services, which we should actually focus on? So for Google, it was the understanding of concepts during my interview. Like they asked a lot about the internet system architecture was another thing that they focused on. And I didn't know GCP at all. Like I was only I had expertise in AWS and Azure, but I didn't had much expertise in GCP. But I was hired like for Google for a GCP role. So they look at really the understanding, the fundamentals, like how clear are you in your head, right, about networking, system architecture, cloud computing concepts like load balancing, caching, right, and how cloud like solves this, auto scaling, right, things like that. So make sure you have really good grasp of those, and I think the only way you can learn those is by hands-on practice. So do labs, right, do build projects that are really close to like real world examples. So the Cloud Resume Challenge is really close because you build a front end, you build a back end, you have a database, right, you have Lambda functions that are being called, and you have an API, right? So I think that's what you need, and that'll help you understand how real world applications work. So that's my tip. Marriage Ahmed says, what is your profession? Okay, so my profession, I work as a staff developer evangelist for Twilio, and here, I'll share it. So I'm a developer evangelist for Twilio and also a part-time professor where I teach cloud at St. Lawrence College. And if you don't know what developer evangelists do, I already kind of shared it. So yeah, that's what I do. And if someone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, here's your chance. Okay. Pooja says, to join Google as SDE or any technical role, we need to a pro in DSA. Also, competitive coding is must. Is that true? No. Competitive coding, and again, I know Kunal. So if you don't follow Kunal, I'm pretty sure all of you do. But Kunal is a great, I think, advocate that how you don't need competitive coding. But yeah, so I don't think you need competitive coding at all. But yes, you do need DSA. So you need to have an understanding of data structures and algorithms. And yeah. So data structures and algorithms is must. You also need to have a good understanding of system design. So, system architecture, load balancing, again, caching. How do you resolve certain problems with the help of, architecture? So, have a good understanding of that. And lead coding will help you with the essay or the questions that might be asked on the interview. So, those are some things that you should focus on. But yeah, I don't think competitive coding is needed. This is also from my experience from the North American side. But since Kunal said it, I'm going to say it's pretty same in India too. Sayed says, what is the best resources to learn Red Hat admin? Kindly let me know. I don't know. Sorry. To be honest, I haven't looked at the Red Hat stuff. But I do think Free Code Camp has one. Okay, Nerds Academy has a full tutorial on Red Hat Enterprise. But yeah, I don't think they have one Red Hat admin. Yeah. So, sorry, cannot help with that. But yeah, you Google it and you'll be able to find like reviews and stuff from other people that might have taken it. Well, okay. I missed my chat. Where was I? So yeah, that's about it. And then I'm gonna go back to the project that I was saying because I'm seeing a lot of questions about projects. So Cloud Resume Challenge, as I already said, and for DevOps, where did that video go? It's this. Oh no, don't start. So yeah, it's a 40-minute video, and it's a DevOps because it includes CI/CD, ISC, and you also learn, fundamentals of API and how APIs work. DevOps project. But yeah, I was mentioning this earlier in the chat or in the stream, but I also saw a few other people mentioning what is a good DevOps project to start with. So I think this is pretty good. And then I'm hoping, we'll come up with more projects for DevOps specifically. But yeah, for cloud and kind of DevOps too, you have the Cloud Resume Challenge too, because there is CI/CD involved. But yeah, so that answers that. I've answered that. Thanks. My main concern. Okay. Thanks. My main concern is I'm worried because of my age whether I can switch to IT. I'm 27. Should I join some bootcamp or try to join masters or online courses would be good. I enrolled in my bachelor's and I haven't taken one subject to this date. I don't know. But I think, yeah, anything works. Like if you really think, you have the discipline and you can self-teach yourself, books, online courses, documentation, all of those work. And I can't tell anything about boot camps because I haven't not taken any. And also they're a lot of money because I was looking at one and they said it'll be $12,000. And I like at that point I might just go to school and get my bachelor's degree, right? That's my opinion and that's the way I see it. But age doesn't matter. I know someone who is 43 and they transitioned to tech when they were 41. So age doesn't matter. You just need the right mindset. And if tech is really something that you want to do, go for it and try things out. Like give yourself time, take some online courses or books, try them out, be patient with yourself, see if you like it. And if self-teaching is not something that works for you, you know, you always have boot camps and masters and online courses. So that's my suggestion. Bhavesh says, is it easy to get well-paying cloud jobs in Canada, US compared to India? Well-paying jobs in general is not easy. I'm going to say that because you have to stand out. I know you might be seeing all these salaries and numbers online, but you need to be able to stand out at what you do to get the top dollar. That's my advice. But you can make decent money compared to other professions. You can make decent money in tech. Like when I was making 65K, I was the happiest. Like I'm like, this is the most amount of money I'll make, and I'm really happy that I chose tech at 65K. And then I started seeing like salary transparency videos and articles, and I saw levels.fyi. So I really got to know how much you can actually make if you are really skilled and know what you're doing. So yes, it's not easy. You'll have to put in the hard work, but even if you're like mediocre range, I think compared to other professions, you make decent money in tech. Oh, Gwen is here. What up? That hat is fire. Thank you. It also has my name at the back. So I'll show you. Oops. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but yeah. Yeah, I got it at a super class in Boston. They were engraving it. But yeah, Gwen. So I think, Gwen, I shared 2 of your videos. So she is in the chat. I don't know if she's still around, but go check out her channel. I don't have to plug her. We already kind of saw the resources she provides. Manny, do one need to know scripting language, Python, Bash, PowerShell, etc. to work in AWS Azure Cloud? Yes. You need to know Bash. Also familiarize yourself with CLI. So like AWS has their own CLI, Azure has their own CLI. Use those. It'll not only make you like better, but also it is kind of like I've seen at certain companies it is a requirement, because who wants to go into the UI or into the console and launch 20 instances if that's a requirement someday, right? So you can really script it using the scripting languages and command line tools available for each cloud provider. Segya says, what is the best resource to learn Azure? Microsoft Learn. I think it's the best resource to learn Azure. Oops. This is what I'm talking about. So you go to learn.microsoft.com, and it has modules. It has modules based on a particular, certification, if that's something you're learning towards. Why is the site not working? Okay. My stream is still working, right? Okay. Yeah, my stream is still working. I don't know why. Why is Learn? Let's try incognito. Okay, yeah, something with my browser. But yeah, this is learn.microsoft.com. Yeah, I think that's the best resource, hands down. They also give you sandbox environments to test in Azure. So that's a really good feature. Okay. Bhavesh says, cloud server storage may e-learning platform. Okay, it's in Hindi. So cloud server storage may e-learning platform create karna or e-learning implement karna, like different categories of learning like IT, commerce, science, health. Oh yeah, that's a great project. Yeah, I think that's a really cool project if that's something you're building. Piyush, what if any Indian wants to do cloud job in Canada? Well, I'm talking about myself. Since my childhood, I always wanted to do tech job in a country like US. Yeah, look for remote roles. And if you're not sure, I think Piyush, I can share some sites where you can find globally remote roles, and then like you'll have the opportunity to do work with a global company, and maybe down the road you can move to US or Canada through that company, right? So that's my advice. Risha says, really enjoying the stream, side by side moving Grafana dashboard to persona monitoring and management, doing stuff for org. Oh, nice, nice. Thanks for tuning in, Rishabh. It's nice to have you, but it's great you're working too on the side. Rishabh Kumar Pandey says, how to select what project to make? I'm a beginner. Again, I think this is. I'm not gonna share it again, but yeah, learn to cloud.guide has some great projects that you can build. The Cloud Resume Challenge for cloud, and then I shared. If you can find it in the chat, it should say DevOps. I shared a DevOps project that Gwen did 1 day ago, so it's pretty new, and it's something that you can build over a weekend. And you'll also understand CI/CD, IAC, right? APIs. Shahrukh says, I'm in Canada. I've been in currently lead service desk analyst role for last 3 years. I would like to become cloud engineer, but no IT degree. Don't know how or where to start from. Learn to cloud.guide. That's where you start. Since you already have been in the service desk analyst role for the last 3 years, you might be able to skip some of this, right? But yeah, go check out learn to cloud.guide. It has the thing I love is it has structured phases, so you know what you have to do first, and then what is the next skill that you have to focus on, so you don't get overwhelmed. Shahrukh Vora says, kindly advise Rishabh. Yeah, so that's my advice. I made a video on my channel too on the cloud computing fundamentals, but basically it talks about this guide, and it's also available in Hindi. Oh, I forgot. If we still have people in the stream, I have a dedicated channel now for Hindi, so go check it out. Oh, we are already at 91 subscribers. Awesome. So I will have dedicated videos regarding cloud and DevOps and career in Hindi on this channel. So go make sure you're subscribed to it for any of the Hindi speaking folks. Oh, Gwen is still here. So Gwen says Bash plus Cloud CLI makes you much more efficient. Exactly. Bhavya says GPS in the chat. Let's go. By the way, what are these layoffs going on recently worldwide? Yeah, I talked briefly into the stream about the layoffs. But again, we talked much in detail on our Learn to Cloud.guide podcast. So we have a podcast. By we, I mean me and Gwen. Go check it out. It has 10 episodes. We talked about layoffs and how they're impacting us. Bhavya says automation skills more than coding skills in context of cloud. I feel that if you have programming skills or coding skills, it'll help you in cloud. But if you don't have them, they're not something that are necessary, but you might need to understand some kind of scripting. So I like there is a really thin line between scripting and like beginner level coding. Because then like if you get into coding, like the actual coding, then you have data structures, algorithms and stuff. But beginner level coding and scripting, like there's really thin line. So I think, yeah, having the beginner level knowledge of any of the programming languages will help you in cloud. Okay, so we are at 11:30, and I finally made it to the end of the chat. I hope you love the stream. Make sure you have liked the stream, right? It will be available afterwards on my channel. And I just added my Hindi channel in the chat. So make sure you're subscribed to that, because that channel will have dedicated cloud content and DevOps content in Hindi. So yeah, check those out. I also did a video on the AWS community builders that was posted this morning. So, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date. And thank you for tuning in. I don't see any questions, so I think this is the best time to end the stream. It's been 60 minutes. And I'll see you all next Tuesday. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, I did say that I'm gonna show the swag. So if people are still in here, I'll just show the ones that I really loved. So this is Sam the Squirrel for AWS Sam. So if you know what Sam is, you might know the squirrel. It's their mascot. So this is great. I won it at a claw machine. They only had like 4 or 5 in the claw machine. It was really hard to get because it's really heavy and big. The next one is Glue. It's for Solo. So it's Solo's, mascot. So it's pretty cute. I love plushes. So these two are definitely like the showcase of my swag. Bye, Rishav. And just a second. Books. I never thought of this as a swag that can be given out at a conference. So one is Securing Containers and Cloud for Dummies. I'm going to read this. And then you have Linux Observability with BPF. So these were given out as swag by a company called Sysdig. Loved it. And then, less rest of it, stickers, t-shirts and stuff. But these are the ones that I really love or liked at the conference. But yeah, with that being said, thanks for tuning into the stream. I'll see you next Tuesday, or I'll see you on my YouTube channel, because, more videos will be coming. Peace.